welcome, welcome. Spring, and we're close. We're getting there. Remember, the groundhog told us spring is going to be here really soon. And spring is a great time for jackets. It's just a perfect time for jackets, and probably one of my favorite looks. It's just a pair of jeans with a jacket thrown on top. I've heard so many women say to me, I don't wear jackets. I don't work anymore. And I just don't think it's about work. I just think it's such a great look. So I want to introduce to you some fun things that you can do with jackets, and then hopefully you'll be off to sewing. So first we're going to talk about styling. I've gotten several emails requesting double-breasted. And double-breasted jackets are, well, I'm going to point out to you, good and bad. So first we're going to look at what's called the Miller jacket. This is Veronica Beard. The jacket ranges between $500 and $1,000. If you look at the first picture, notice where the double-breasted jacket is, and then I'm going to contrast myself, and I want you to see these differences. In this first jacket, notice the button placement, how it goes wider and then narrower. When you're doing double-breasted, button placement is critical. It's really important to go wider and then narrower, because what that does is it gives an illusion, obviously, that the waist is this little tiny thing, and this figure is created, is basically what I'm going to say. However, if you notice where these buttons are, I just wouldn't want buttons on my jacket placed where these buttons are. I just can't help but, not see the parts that I want to see. Notice the flat pocket. That flat pocket is very heavy in this jacket. And then I'm going to show you how to do this lapel. I don't care for the lapel. I think it's too timely. It's too fashion. But, if you really like to be at the height of fashion, I'm going to show you how to do it. Very simple to do. All right, if you look at the next jacket, again, notice the button placement. Now, these are all Veronica Beard Miller jacket. You can look it up, and there's just a zillion fabrics and, lots of different variety. But they're this exact silhouette. Notice the heavy pocket, the button placement, and the lapel. They're all exactly the same. One thing I would say is a denim jacket is just terrific. Again, thrown on with yoga pants. So it's that great look that really is quick and easy, and yet says you're honest. It just says all kinds of things, that jacket does. So there's a couple things. If you notice the length of the jacket to your sleeve, the length of the jacket to your sleeve, to me, right now in fashion, should be equal. This jacket is a little bit long, and for that reason, I went in and I tried it on, and I did not like it. But again, I'm just pointing out things that you can be aware of, and then you can figure out whether you like those or not. The next one is worn open. If you're going to do a double-breasted, and obviously David Letterman was the king of double-breasted jackets, he always wore them closed. Always, because a double-breasted jacket worn open, and I'm going to give you that illusion there, is a really sloppy look. If you're going to do double-breasted, and you notice with this photo, it would not close. So you can do a double-breasted, but if you're going to do it and if you want to wear it open, you'll want to go down in size, because when you have a double-breasted and you wear it open, it's going to give you a heavier look or a non-fitted look, as opposed to if you close the jacket up. So those are just a couple tips. Button placement, watch the lapel, watch the length. Either no pockets on a shorter jacket, or you can do a welt, whichever, and the sleeve of the jacket and the hem of the jacket can be right about the same place, so that regardless of your height, you'll get that jacket proportion to you. All of those are kind of your call. All right, so enough with fashion. Let's talk about changing the pattern. I used pattern 1500. It's got the great cutaway in the front. So many women have said to me, oh, it makes my tummy look larger. Your tummy's not even going to show. It's got a great silhouette in the back. You can see it just fits beautifully and perfect. A notch lapel is perfect for a check. Now, if you go to remember, it's a masculine fabric and a masculine pattern, and 1500 is a masculine pattern. And then, of course, I use this beautiful raspberry color boucle because I just love it. I just fell in love with it. It's a plaid, and that's a masculine as well. Okay, so let's talk styling a little bit. I'm going to show you the front of 1500, which this is, and then I'm going to show you the difference of what you can do to actually add that little spike lapel if you want it. I shortened 1500. That's already been done. So notice when I line these up, the top is 1500 and underneath. So you're going to mark where the collar comes to. And the pattern doesn't have a collar end place, but it does have a shoulder placement. So all you have to do is figure out how much farther the collar would go around and then put a little mark on the lapel. And I had used a jacket that I had already made before, and so I knew exactly where that lapel, where the collar ended, and I put a little notch right there on the pattern. So then what you're going to do is go up 2.5 inches. The angle of this is all styling. Just remember, the collar is going to sit right in here. The collar is going to sit right here, and how close to that you want, but it's about the same width or wider than, if you notice on here, and you'll just notice details. It's really fun, and it's actually very easy. This little addition here is about a 90-degree angle from the neckline itself. So if you come up to do the double-breasted, what I did is I added right at the point of center front. I added 4 inches. Mine laps more than the photo. If you notice, that photo only laps about 2.5 inches. So how much you want a double-breasted? Double-breasted by definition just means it goes past center front to the other side. So you've got lots of options there. I did 4 inches because I knew what I wanted was just 2 buttons, and I wanted kind of an extreme crossing and opening at the bottom. I didn't want just a little bit. I wanted, and I was going to wear it closed. Those were my plans. So once you make that addition, just bring it right back to the original line up here, and you bring it right up to where that lapel is added. That's all it is. And as you can see, as it folds back, well, once the dart is made, you know, when I first did silhouette patterns, the whole reason I did patterns was for jackets, because this has a dart under the lapel. And in ready to wear, if you don't have a princess seam, you need something that brings that garment back into the body, and the dart under the lapel is what does it. So this little dart under the lapel is a great little secret. So 1500 is why I started with that pattern. It has the dart under the lapel. Anyway, this folds back, and then you can see the collar will come right into here. So you sew it the exact same way. You do the collar first, you place it on just like the directions, and then you sew the facing. You just have to go up and over. Just keep in mind, whatever you want it to look like, make sure you've got enough seam allowance to give you that final product. But it's all fun styling. And then not only do you have to do the front, but you've got to do this front facing. So again, you can see that you just add the spike, bring it right out to the double-breasted, and right back to the original. That's it. How much you want to shorten it, it's your call. I would cut it a little bit longer, just safety, because you can always shorten it up. You can't add length if it's too short, and then you can get it the length you want. Throw together a muslin real quick. You'll find so much advantage in making that muslin. It'll just give you confidence when you go to the actual fabric. This is an Armani. I mean, I've had it for a long time, but what I wanted to show you with this collar is this, for packing, for shipping, and I've never cut it apart, is actually stitched right in here. It's just a hand stitching, and it is just for shipping. It's kind of like welt pockets or sewn clothes in the factories. So you don't want to sew that together. But again, you're going to sew the collar, and then when you sew the facing, just pretend it's just a normal facing. Do it just like the directions. You're just going to take the spike up and then come down. Very easy to do. The jacket didn't take long at all. Of course, I had already done my fitting, and I just love it. And it's just, like I said, perfect for fall. Again, this lapel is very trendy. So if you do it, just know that, you know, in a year or whatever, it's just not going to happen. But for now, it's out there. It's really popular. Watch your pockets. They're a little chunky in the pictures that I showed you. I don't think that's any advantage. I think basically what you want to do is kind of slim up the body. And the best way to do it, of course, is that welt pocket or no pocket at all. When you're matching your plaids, your match points are your underarm placement. Just put all of those at the same place across the board, or your hem. You can do either one. But when it comes to the sleeve, so that the plaid will go right across, you're going to put the underarm placement of the sleeve at the same place as the underarm of this jacket. And it'll just line up perfectly. And it's just a lot of fun. If you've not worked with plaid before, go with a small plaid. And the reason this plaid was so good is because it's not a real firm, harsh plaid. It's got a little bit of, you know, illusion, I'm going to say, to it, you know, like a painting. It's kind of an illusionist. So if it's off a little bit, it's not, you know, going to really just blare crazy. So 1500, the fabric that I used is fabric, I think it's 2244. 1500 is the jacket. pattern number. And even if you did it just like the pattern, it's just going to be an incredible jacket. The look itself wouldn't really be that much different if it was a single-breasted. But again, if you want double-breasted, you know how to do that. So from Silhouette Patterns, happy sewing. Make a great jacket for spring.